Hey, yo, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag, you know what I mean? As of this recording, it is 12:06 a.m., December 30th, 2025, but the upload time to this is actually between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Actually, between 4 and 5 p.m., of the same day. I decided to drop a little video, a little late night video because, I'm doing a lot of thinking about, next week's Raw and what I think might happen, because the pieces are starting to fall in line with this whole Vision storyline and also with, Punk and Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship in my hometown of Brooklyn, New York, right? And how one Chris Jericho falls perfect into these plans, right? WWE is going to want to come with a bang for the New Year's, right? And what better way than to bring in, a 30-year vet like Y2J himself. And I have a lot to say about, Chris Jericho, because it seemed like the Sickos, for some weird ass reason, like every time I mention something about, either Chris Jericho or fucking, or Orange Cassidy or whatnot, well, I want to focus more on Jericho. It's like they get titty attacks, right? Like this stupid fuck, you know what I mean? Who came on my motherfucking comment section, right? Talking a lot of shit. You know what I mean? He was talking so much shit, it was ridiculous. Like, a fag by the name of Greg Goldman, you know what I mean, was like, oh, Jericho sucks. No, WWE sucks. And Jericho wasn't a pillar. Yeah, the fuck he was a pillar, you stupid motherfucker. And this is what I'm talking about with, the Sickos. And I'm going to drop some bombs, in this video. This is not the main video that I'm going to drop. You know what I mean? That would be sometime next week because I'm going to go nuke. I'm going to go fucking nuclear on what I'm going to say, right? But, with Jericho leaving AEW, right? It does a whole lot more damage than what you might think right now. A whole lot more. You got people under the comment sections, not under my comment sections, but like on Twitter threads and stuff saying, oh, Jericho's washed, fuck him, we don't need him and such. This is the same company, right? Who, shout out to William Regal, where he actually spoke about, fucking neck and head injuries after the fucking Kyle Fletcher shit, where nobody, he tried to offer advice to people in AEW and they told him to fuck off, right? This is the type of attitude that they have in AEW, right? And I'm pretty sure that AEW losing a guy like Chris Jericho who has knowledge and such, right? Man, that does heavy. That does very fucking heavy. Like like I said, what's his face? AEW losing Punk and Rhodes were bad. You lose someone like Jericho, who is your first ever World Heavyweight Champion. That's a big blow. And I think I know what WWE is going to do too. And you know what? WWE, they had the funniest shit that they could, that they had the chance to do the funniest shit. You know what I mean? Like, having a picture with Cody, Jericho, and Punk all together. Basically, telling AEW to suck a dick and telling the AEW Sickos to suck a dick. You know what I mean? This is going to hurt more because, Tony doesn't listen to anybody. Tony does not listen to nobody. And, for Tony to basically just let Chris Jericho go, just let him go. Like if he was a piece of shit, that's a problem. And then the AEW fans are these motherfuckers are cheering. The Sickos are cheering like, yeah, we got rid of Chris Jericho. We got rid of the learning tree. This is a problem with AEW. You know, Tony Khan was letting motherfuckers do whatever he want. You know what I mean? And which is the wrong thing to do. Because you let these motherfuckers do what they want, and then you see the result on the television. Right? You see the result. You see the motherfucking result. You know, losing Jericho, AEW losing Jericho, like I said, it's a very, very bad sign. Not only that, but also this tell you exactly where the company is at this current stage. 6 years ago when AEW started, right? This is supposed to be a company, you know, where wrestlers can wrestle, you know, another place to work, you know, and they have creative freedom and they can do what they want and yada 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 yada. But now, you know, Tony listens to nobody, right? You know, all metrics are down with AEW, and it's something that they will never come back from. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're never going to come back from all this shit. They're not. They're not. Losing Chris Jericho, you know, you think Punk was bad. Losing Jericho goes even further with that settlement. Further. You know, once Wednesday comes, you know what I mean? Once the clock strike midnight, you know what I mean? Jericho already, I know Jericho right now has a contract, you know, towards him from WWE. Right now. I'm absolutely sure he has something right now. He can't sign it until fucking 48 hours from now. Right? He can't sign it, but once the clock strikes midnight, oh yeah, he's putting pen to paper. Shit. Who knows? They probably already, you know, made creative way before then. You know? Like I said, and if the sickos don't like what I'm saying, you could suck my dick. Because you would never in your fucking life say that bullshit, what you say on the comment section of my face. Ever. You're too pussy to come out here to Fort Greene. You're way too pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of people are going to be leaving AEW. A lot. A whole lot. And believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this name, who I can definitely see back in WWE. I think Mercedes Moné, I would not be shocked. And now I would not be shocked that Mercedes Moné comes back to WWE. I would not be shocked. Honest to fucking God, I would not be shocked. You know, it's just another cake in the layer. Cake in the layer, get it? Cake in the layer. You know? Because WWE, the women have the best cakes. I'm sorry. They got the best cakes. And you know what I'm going to do? You know, on Sunday, I might do, you know, a smash and pass to TNA. I might do that. I might just say fuck it and do that. You know? But like I said, Jericho leaving AEW, like I said, it does a lot of fucking damage. A lot of damage. And you know what? You know, the fucking people in AEW are going to wish that they have vets like Chris Jericho, you know, to lean on. They're going to wish that they had that. I mean, they fucked that up with William Regal, right? And now they basically just fucked it up with Chris Jericho. It's sad, man. It's sad. It's not like good water, shit. But it's sad. It's sad. It's sad that these fucking sickos don't like the truth. You know what I mean? But hey, I don't mind telling the truth. You know, I definitely don't like telling the truth. I mean, you know, I destroyed like that faggot nigga Slim Johnny. You know what I mean? Who was talking shit. I mean, come on, man. Like this is fun for me. This is fun. What I'm gonna start doing moving forward also is, this is the last video that I'm gonna make where I even mention you trolls. Like I could just, you know, I'm just gonna burn you motherfuckers one time, and then I'm just gonna block you niggas. You know what I mean? Because again, the sickos do not like the truth. They don't like the truth. I mean, they can't stand the truth. They can't stand when, you know, when someone like me comes in and just, you know, go scorch earth on this fucking company. You know? And I know what's gonna I know what the fuck these sickos are gonna do next week when Jericho does arrive, right? You know, and who knows? Maybe Jericho might come at the end and cost Punk the championship. he might be the new leader of the division. There's always a possibility. But I know what's going to happen. They're going to go on the WWE's comment section, right? And they're going to go on the Chris Jericho's, YouTube channel and such, and his Instagram and his Twitter page, and they say, sell out, sell out, sell out. Oh, fuck you. You're a sellout. I hope you enjoy that blood money and all this other bullshit. You know this is what the fuck they're going to do. Why? Because they're losers. These fucking fans are losers, B. They're losers. You know what I mean? They're fucking losers. But hey, too bad. If you don't like what I'm saying right now, too fucking bad, bitch. Too fucking bad. Because it's not going to stop with Jericho. It's definitely not going to stop with Jericho. Hey, I guarantee you'll see MJF in WWE. I guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? AEW has a lot of, like I said before, AEW is an official developmental for WWE. And I know the fans do not like that, but I don't give a fuck. And you know what? I'm expecting people to come under the comment section and talk shit. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I will burn you motherfuckers like a dragon. Try me if you want to, bitch. Anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. I will be making another video tonight, depending on what happens in the news, today and such. So I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.